Hello, hello, everybody. How are you doing? Happy Friday, January 6th. What an incredible week it's been with the MetaPower program. I had a few thoughts as I've been going through all of this training and stuff like that. I mean, nothing is this is things that we haven't heard before, right? I mean, I'm thinking, oh, I know this. And then I had a realization that, well, am I doing it? So knowing and doing are two different things. And I just thought that was a really powerful insight. I noticed that with many things in my life, it's like that little monster on our shoulder tends to be our I don't know, the Achilles heel or whatever that has us not do what we should be doing or want to be doing or forming those really powerful habits. And one of the things that doTERRA was talking about, conquering cravings. And I noticed myself, I tend to have a really difficult time in the evening with, like, I will eat a nice healthy dinner. Larry made me a wonderful fish and vegetable dinner last night. It was really good feeling, and we tend to eat pretty healthy, right? I know these things. and But about an hour later, or even just a half hour later, it doesn't even have to be very long, I'm still full, but I have this thing in my head that I want to nibble on something. And it could even be starting like earlier than dinner, like at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So I was really interested in listening to what today's class was about on how to conquer cravings. And let me go ahead and share my screen here real quick. And so when we're talking about conquering cravings, this I don't know, you guys watching these programs, this is really great. This is a great video, and then we're going through and talking about, you know, 10 tips on how to conquer cravings. And some of these tips I'm like, well, yeah, okay. Well, prepare your meals. Over the past, we have talked about making a meal plan for the whole week. When you go through and prepare the meals, it really does put you in the driver's seat. It really does help you go through and think about how to uh, you know, doing the work of making the meal, going through and knowing that this is the ingredients you need, and having your mind focused on something else that's actually forward thinking than opening up the refrigerator going, well, what am I going to make for dinner right now? Oh, here's some chips. I'm going to nibble on that, or here's this or that. And, so also, when you know that you've prepared or going to prepare a really helpful square meal that has all the things that you need to help not deprive your body, that's really important. That was the key conversation here for me, is that I usually, a lot of times, Larry will. He will go through and make me just a vegetable dinner because I'm not a heavy meat eater. My stomach just has a harder time digesting heavy foods like steak. And so when I go through and have just vegetables, I could eat a big, huge bowl of broccoli. Seriously, I love broccoli. I love asparagus, Brussels sprouts. I love all things green. I just love them steamed. I don't put butter on them. I use that brewer's yeast. I love to sprinkle on it. It's really good. But I'm depriving my body of other nutrients that it needs. And so when I'm done eating, I tend to be still looking for filling in that gap. And so that is why when they talk about having carbs and fats and all these different things throughout the day, it's helping you fulfill those requirements that your body needs, or it's actually being deprived. And in this conversation here, they're actually talking about don't deprive yourself of an occasional treat. But what we actually tend to do is having those occasional treats from time to time turns into every day. And so keep mindful of that. There's a really good doTERRA book. And actually, if you go to the doTERRA blog, pre-make, so this is like preparing your own meals, pre-make um, like fat made like coconut oil chocolate that is all keto type um, treats that are not full of uh, oh, I'm just losing the word, carbohydrates and sugars and all those things like that, right? And so if you go through and pre-make them and then put them in a Ziploc bag, so like this is this day's ration, this is this day's ration, and be able to help yourself actually feel like you're not being deprived, but you're still within your commitment and your daily requirements of those goals of fats and things like that. Make it easy. Like a lot of people like to go through and do little containers like the Ziploc things and freeze them. That is something really nice to have. Keep things out of your reach. Like, if you have chocolate and that is full of sugar and chips and things like that, those are full of fats and full of salts that are chemicals that wire our brain to go through and think that we're hungry when we're really not. And so having those in the house is just a no. Going and walking around the grocery store, the outside actually has all the good nutrient type foods that you want. Inside the aisles where it has all the processed foods that you don't want. And so being able to learn, there's a really good book that I bought over at the Bellingham Co-op when I had my food allergies on how to cook naturally. And it had some amazing muffin recipes that you can use for a breakfast or for a snack that are all really nutrient based and without the harmful chemicals and laced preservatives and food colorings and all those things that actually are harmful to our body. And so it's really a great book. It's something worth getting. And local authors actually wrote that book. I forget their name right now, but I actually was at a class that we had when I was a member of Wacom Women in Business, and we did a class at someone's house, and they taught how to cook. And actually, when you're cooking this way, it's so much easier. And just giving yourself a chance to experience that. And Larry and I decided that we're going to commit to every Friday night is going to be kind of a date night in the kitchen where we're going to explore a brand new recipe. And I'm really excited about this. I'm going to have fun with it. And with the doTERRA cooking oils, the new oils that they came out at Christmas time, I have a few extra sets if anybody's interested, but they're incredible. There's Italian oils, there's Thai oils, Mexican oils. And so these oil blends are going to be really fun to explore and cook with. There's a really great ebook. I believe I shared it with you guys already, but I'll check and make sure it's there in the media folder on Facebook. And just explore different recipes and have fun with this. Okay. And so like that's involving Larry and me to doing things together. And also drinking plenty of water. We talked about that as well too, but you take your weight and divide it in half, and that's how many ounces you should be drinking every day. Again, I have a full container of water here that's the sparkly water, and I love to put the Meta Power in it. And it tastes really good. It's refreshing, and it just the effervescence of that just wakes me up, and I just feel really supported. Um, it also talked about in that video when we're talking about protein and fiber, again, having that extra filling in those gaps that your body's not being deprived of those nutrients that you need will actually create that your body will stop wanting to have those extra foods, like thinking that it's not deprived of those nutrients. And I thought that was really really interesting. I heard a long time ago people who go vegetarian that they actually are not healthy, that they actually need to be doing more things like having protein and stuff like that. Their body is deprived of the nutrients and they don't have the energy, they don't have the stamina. They may feel good for a while because they were detoxing their body, which we all need to do. We all need to go through phases of doing that. But when you're depriving your body the protein and fiber, you're actually really going to be having a problem. Stress. Now, stress is something that really was a killer for my gut. So, when you're having a stressful job or just making life difficult, stress can actually be inflammation to the gut and it will actually stop you from absorbing those nutrients. And so, being able to get on top of your stress is so important. I wanted to show you something. I went ahead and downloaded um, the emotions app, right? We talked about the emotions app before, and let me go and see. I could stop sharing my screen here for a second. And when we're looking at this emotions app, it's essentially emotions, and you can download it. It's something like $15, but it's really interesting. I decided to take a look at eating issues. What is the emotion of eating issues? It says feeling less superior to someone close to you, feeling preoccupied with self-hatred. That might like, attempting to control something in order to feel safe. So these are like emotional eating issues when we have this subconscious thing going on in our mind. Um, Emotions could be circulated around blaming self, inconsistent, loss or lost, rejection, self comparison. And I noticed, when I look at this for me, I'll be a little bit vulnerable. I feel sometimes lost doing building in India. Like I feel like I'm so far away, I'm disconnected. I feel lost, like what's the next step? Where am I going with this? But when I look back, I don't know why I choose that in my mind because I know that anything you do in life is that way. When you're being first engaged to get married, you're a little bit lost. I mean, maybe the security of the relationship's there, but what's next? Like, are we going to need to buy a house? We can't afford this. Or, you have all those things that you can put in front of you and we can make that mean different things. Um, how much time do we spend comparing ourselves to others, especially when we're trying to lose weight? This is really incredible when we go through and think about self comparing. It's the thief of all joy. And self comparing, when we're comparing to that skinny person or this healthy person or whatever, that really makes us feel like we're lacking and we don't have what it takes. Stop that. These emotions are something that our mind is feeding that. That's the monster on our shoulder again, right? That we want to kick out of our head and actually put affirmations there and use essential oils to be able to break that emotional pattern around that. So, looking deeper in that, what loss can I grieve and let go of? Or is there something that you are avoiding? What is it that you're avoiding? Take time and really think these questions through. Am I open to accepting myself and situations of being worthy and enough? And I notice for me that whenever I go through and have like an upset, like maybe somebody's accused me of something or a shipment got lost or and it's my fault, right? I get blamed for something like that happening. And you know, everybody goes through and has people that don't like them or something like that. And I spiral down in that area. And I realize that I am worthy and I'm enough. I know that I have the foundation that God has given me. I'm a gift from God, and that going through and thinking of these things that is actually an insult to God when I'm not giving my best self or comparing myself to others that I'm not worthy or I'm not enough. And this is really powerful, you guys, because when you're able to know that you're enough, you're actually mentally thinking and focusing on truer, happier things in your life. You can think on that weed and feed that weed, water that weed of self doubt and those thoughts, or you can water a flower or a plant of tree or something that is strength and beauty and being able to choose different conversations that support you through this path. So when doTERRA was starting to talk about your um, your whole New Year's mantra. What is your mantra instead of your goals? See, goals are designed to have you stop and think about what you're not being good at, like what you're not doing. Oh, I didn't do that today. I told myself I would. Then you make yourself wrong and bad and stupid, right? But mantras are inspiring you to move forward. And so my mantra is being unreasonable, right? And so when you're looking at the emotions, I'm going to go and click on in this app the word inconsistent. And it's going to give us different mantras to talk about or different affirmations. Visualize, see a force moving through you from behind to propel you forward and upward on your journey. Imagine unseen help lifting you over obstacles in your way. And I now accept my strength and capabilities to move forward with passion and purpose. And the oils that support you in that are balance. So if you feel that balance is something that is an oil that you can rub over your heart when you're starting to spiral down or notice that conversation is kicking in, essential oils can break those thought patterns. And so I challenge you to start looking at um, the stresses that you're going through, the things, emotions are all about energy, and stress is a very negative energy. And so being able to operate in a higher energy level with using the essential oils that are energy and being able to help us move up into that energy level area. So I know that that was a segue uh, going around about that you weren't expecting, but emotions really are a deep down root cause of maybe why we are having overweight issues in the first place. So we can't ignore it. We need to focus on it. And I just wanted to point out too another oil that is in this group of to give it a try is coriander. And coriander is a beautiful oil to cook with. It's like I think coriander has a lot to do with amazing spices in the Mexican uh, flavors and then the Indian flavors, I believe. And so finding recipes that may include that oil will be another way to be able to help support the emotion while you're eating to be able to not make it a self doubt issue, but make it more of your affirmation issue. So when you pray before you eat or you say your affirmations before you eat, there's really a lot to be said about repatterning those thought processes in that respect. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my presentation here. And if you have any questions on that, you guys, um, go ahead and reach out to me. And if you think that there's maybe another mental breakthrough that you would like to have or emotional breakthrough on that, I do these emotion coaching classes or meetings, just one on one, where we can look at the app, look at different patterns, and be able to be present to what could be there for you. And it's really powerful, you guys. So really reach out to me. And it's very light and easy. It's not heavy. It's something that it's tools that I just ask you questions. There's no judgment. And it's really powerful. Okay. So now when we go through and we look at the next thing is so we just talked about stress and emotions. Let's talk about focusing on sleep. Now, again, we have many beautiful oils that help us with sleep. Like I love deep blue. Isn't that interesting? I think it's because I sit here at the computer every day and got a little bit of tension going on in my shoulders here. I've been working out with Larry's bands, and we'll talk about that one day next week, probably. And all these different things could be adding a little bit more stress on my shoulders. So when I add deep blue here, that smell is just so calming and relaxing. I go right to sleep. And I sleep all through the night. Now, I can take a Serenity soft gel that will help me, but sometimes I still wake up. Vetiver is also a beautiful oil that really is helpful for sleep. Now, I was on a class with Dr. Riggs yesterday, and Dr. Riggs was talking about wild orange. Wild orange is a happy oil. Consider drinking wild orange in your water as well, because wild orange actually going into your gut is where serotonin levels are actually produced. Not in your mind, it's actually in the gut. And when the serotonin levels are produced in the gut, you feel good, you feel happy, right? Wild orange has serotonin in it. I mean, it's something that helps our body produce that. And so you're actually helping with the happy thoughts. When you're happy, you're relaxed. Now, I want to also point out something that was really eye opening to me about wild orange. Wild orange, being the serotonin, when we're talking about serotonin being produced in the gut and your gut is not happy, you are going to be depressed. I have said that over and over and over again, realizing that I could tell when my gut was happy, I wasn't spiraling down and having that depression. And when Dr. Riggs said that about the wild orange, it blew my mind away just because yeah, it actually was something that made me realize that that is true, that I'm not making that up, and that then move more forward in making those decisions of using wild orange more often in my life and also adaptive, which is also just extremely powerful for not only helping that stress and the anxiety, but actually helping your mind be calm and relaxed and not have those ups and downs of those moods that could be making you overeat or feel like you're not fulfilled and wanting more food in your gut. Now, that is also something that is another emotion when you're not feeling fulfilled. You want to fill up with your gut. And we don't realize we're doing that. So, being present to all these things and how the oils can actually map into that is extremely exciting. That there's these tools that we often look at the essential oils just for, like, oh, I've got a burn here, I'm going to use lavender. But we don't look at lavender as all the emotional benefits that it's supporting us as well. And so the meta power for system support is really, really incredible. The meta power, now I want to go through and talk to you about the emotion of the meta power being the 10th reason why. Now I know there's 9 on the list, but I talked about emotions being the extra one. Okay, you guys. So meta power is, I'm going to pull that up here. You're going to be blown away with this emotion on meta power. Metapower is body acceptance. Metapower addresses the underlying emotional patterns which contribute to one's body size, shape, and self perception. Self perception. This blend seeks to return individuals to emotional regulation and physical homeostasis. This blend can help individuals returning to loving, nurturing, and honoring their body and treating it with respect that it deserves. As individuals learn to accept their body as it is, the body can more easily move toward ideal expression. Metapower encourages individuals to rise above self judgment by embracing the body's natural beauty and inherent value, regardless of the weight and or appearance. Isn't that amazing? So I remember I did a landmark education course, and the landmark leader said, "My body is my temple. I treat it like such. I honor my body through doing meditation, prayer. I work out. I feed it what my temple deserves. I treat my body like a temple." And I just thought that that perspective of that your body is a thing, and really, it is. Like you're a bag of skin holding bones together. We think in our brain of who we are. You are making that up. You are making the perception of who you are from your brain, which is just an organ. So when you look at the body and the makeup of who we are and how we're made, the perception of um, and the intellect of what's going on is only by your expression of who you think you are. So, when you're not happy with your body's perception, you can actually change that, make a new one. I remember telling a girlfriend who lost her husband, and she had gone through several years of grieving, which no judgment, right? Everybody goes through everything in the way that they have to. But for some reason, when I was talking to her, it was several years later, she had made a comment. I don't remember what it was. And I said, boy, it's a great time now to open up and turn the page where you can write a whole new chapter in your life. Like you can have a whole new chapter. It's not hostage to your past. It's anything that you want for yourself in your life. So when you're going through and actually looking at who you are and who you want to be, now is the time right now, you guys, to be writing down what you want to move into as a new perception of who you are. These oils can help you with those patterns. They can help you create that new mantra and those new patterns to be able to help release uh, your attachment to food, release your attachment to your body perception, right? And bring it to, let me read where that said, the ideal, move it towards the ideal expression that it's intended to be. And I think that that's where happiness is when we're filling our life with our full expression of who we want to be, or who we desire to be, or who we think we are, but we are not. We're always falling short. You guys, this is all something that you can create. So when you're going back and looking at the journaling of your food log, I would like to challenge you on the journaling of your and creating your self expression of who you want to be as your part of your dream board, as part of your mantra, as part of what you're creating for your new self, right? And so that is all I wanted to say about that. And also, when we're talking, one thing that I put this gum here in front of me because I wanted to talk about that in the craving aspect. So this will be number 11. Okay, so number 11 is these gum. And this is also an emotional thing too, that when I'm thinking about it is this gum, this MetaPower Satiety gum is actually really good. There's 30 pieces in a package, but there's something psychological that goes on when you're chomping on gum. You're just chomping, 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 right? And for me, when I'm sitting out there in the living room watching TV, on Facebook, doing my social media tasks for the day, and I start to get bored, like I start to like, oh, I need something and walk around. I start doing the pacing around the kitchen. I know there's nothing in the cupboards to eat, but I'm like, I want to. The gum is something where I can chomp on. I notice sometimes I'm really chomping really hard. Wow, what is that going on, right? And but this is a an experience that actually not only does it have the oils to help maybe curb those cravings, but it also has that physical um, function of chomping on something, and that is a psychological aspect too. So there's 0 calories in this gum, and it has cinnamon bark, the ginger oil, lemon. It's really good, actually. I like it. And the flavor lasts pretty good, maybe 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. And that's just enough to get me through the evening. So then I'm ready to for sleep to get my good 8 hours of sleep that I'm not getting. I keep going to bed too late. So our goal then, when we go back to that sleep conversation, is to make sure that you really do get a good night's sleep. So I know this went on a little bit long. I didn't expect it to, and I hope it was helpful for you. I would love to hear your comments below about what you think it is for you regarding your emotional stress that you have. And also, I'd like to hear how your sleep is. Maybe it is a good 8 hours you get every day. Your body does need to rejuvenate and regenerate, so it's important to get that. And you burn calories while you're sleeping, so why not, right? Okay, so thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your commitment to you and honoring your body and your temple. And I look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow. All in on oils, everybody. Take care.